Superman.
Miss Lane.
So I just got back from watching Superman. So we're going to review it because I do movie reviews sometimes, not all the time, but if it's a movie that I really want to talk about and I just saw it and I'm coming out of the theater and I have a lot to say and a lot of thoughts, then I do a movie review. So today we're going to talk about Superman. So first of all, I want to say the cast, everyone in that movie, fantastic. Nicholas Hoult, great Lex Luthor. Superman, played perfectly by David Cornsweet. I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't know everyone else's name, but all of the actors, the actress portraying Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, who was also in The Righteous Gemstones, which is a really good show, so I should have known he'd be great. But everybody in this movie, you know, Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner was great. And then you get to the CG dog Crypto, which I loved Crypto. Crypto was awesome. So, and all the characters, the whole cast, fantastic. No complaints whatsoever. And the main point that comes across with this Superman movie is that we finally have a hopeful, optimistic Superman that smiles. That's been the problem with Superman the last, at least since Superman Returns, because that movie was kind of dreary and drab and boring, and that was not this movie. From start to finish, this thing is going off. So you have to pay attention, otherwise it's going to move right by you, but in a good way. It's a very simple plot, very straightforward. But the other great thing about this Superman movie is Superman is not having to hold his punches, because, you know, in the Superman movies, the old ones especially, you know, it was, oh, let's tiptoe around Lex Luthor because he's just a normal guy. I can't knock him around. And you know, we had Ultraman in this movie. We got the giant kaiju. You got just all kinds of action scenes where Superman is not really holding back. He is doing what he needs to do, which is punch really hard and make sure that nobody gets hurt. I'm not doing any spoilers, but like, Superman saves everybody, including squirrels. So like, that's the main thing. It's like, this isn't, do you bleed? You will. This is, I'm Superman. I'm here to help. And I'm here to make sure that you and everyone around you is going to be okay. And that's what we needed from a Superman movie. I grew up, okay, so I feel like everyone's first superhero was Superman. I feel like that was the first hero that everyone was exposed to as a kid. But especially me, I watched and I read a lot of Superman comic books. I loved Superman toys, and, you know, I'm a big Spider-Man fan now. That's my thing. And that was as I got a little bit older. But Superman, it's just, there's no black and white. Superman is a good guy. He is the bright, shining beacon of optimism that every other hero aspires to be. Even when he's tested, even when he's, you know, got things stacked against him, Superman is always there to be like, you know what? I've got to do what I need to do. And that is to just keep pushing on and make sure that I save everyone. And by golly, this movie portrayed that perfectly. Even when he's down and feeling like he didn't do the right thing, or he was like not told the whole story, it didn't matter, because it was all about the choices that he had made. And the choice that Superman makes is always to do the right thing. And so people were saying, oh, this movie's woke. I want to go ahead and say this, like, there is nothing quote unquote woke in this movie, even though people don't know what that means. It is a very surface level story with a clear bad guy and good guy, and clear bad and good. And that's how the world should be. Everyone should see bad and be like, that's bad. Everyone should see good and be like, that's good. But I feel like we've lost that. And Superman never, ever loses sight of that. You know, his thing is, if someone's getting bullied, it doesn't matter. I'm going to step in and I'm going to make sure that the bullying stops. And that's who Superman is. And I was crying essentially the whole movie. And I'm a Marvel fan first and foremost. And I hate on DC Multiverse, but that's because that toy line, in my opinion, sucks. I think that DC has been through some hard times. I think that they've had bad leadership. I don't think that handing off the entirety of DC to Zack Snyder was ever a good idea. And anyone who prefers the Snyderverse over this, I don't see why or how. Like the tone of this movie, oh my God. So it's very Silver Age. It's very comic booky. They're not like, oh, we have to explain this and make it realistic. No, there's none of that. It's just a comic book movie. Marvel kind of does that, but they still bring in the realism. Superman was just like, nope. Start of the movie. We got the robots. We got the super dog. We got all this crazy stuff. Just accept it. And as soon as it's on the screen, you just start to accept it. And that is the signs of a well-made movie, because all this craziness, all this comic book, all these bright colors, it just draws you in further. It puts you into this world where Superman is there to save everyone. And that's exactly what he did. Now, if they keep this tone going for, I know they should have the Creature Commandos is definitely R-rated. Suicide Squad is definitely R-rated. Peacemaker is definitely R-rated. Those are in this continuity. But Superman has this. There's some very dark moments in there. There's Nicholas Hoult did a fantastic job at making me hate Lex Luthor. God, I hate that little man. He's the most envious, slimy little scuzzball genius billionaire that you've ever seen, and he really portrayed how obsessed the man is with Superman, and he will hurt anyone just to hurt Superman. It doesn't matter how small the connection or whatever. He is there to just make everyone hate Superman as much as he does. And Nicholas Hoult did that perfectly. But despite all of that, Superman was just like, you know what? I need to prove him wrong, and I'm going to prove him wrong. And Superman, every time, that's why I don't like things like Injustice, where Superman goes off the deep end. Like it makes for a good game, but Superman would not do that, even if it was because Lois was hurt. And the chemistry between David Cornsweet and the actress playing Lois Lane, I feel bad for not. I know she has a weirdly spelled last name, but I don't want to try to bring it up and butcher it. But their chemistry was so good. They're supposed to be early in their relationship, and it feels that way. It feels like they're still learning each other, testing the waters with each other, and growing to trust each other. And they kind of make these really small moments in the movie where it's very intimate and very close off, and there's a lot of big crazy things happening going on. But when it's Superman and Lois, or Kal-El and Lois, because Superman, Clark Kent, who's the real identity? It's Superman. That is who he is through and through. But when they're talking to each other, it's very like this is a couple working through some stuff, and everything else other than that doesn't matter in that moment, because they truly care about each other. I don't think that that's been portrayed in any Superman movie since I was a kid. Amy Adams, I did not like as Lois Lane. I thought her accent was terrible. I thought she was so non-urgent in all of her delivery. I just thought she sucked. But and I didn't think that I always see Lois with darker hair. So the dark hair, the red lipstick, all that stuff, she looked like Lois Lane straight out of a comic book, or Superman the animated series. And they just worked so well together. And then you get to the side characters like Crypto, Mr. Terrific, who absolutely stole the show. Same with Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner. And the guy that played Mr. Terrific also played Darwin in X-Men First Class. And then Nicholas Hoult was obviously Beast. So you have two of the First Class X-Men cast in there, which was kind of funny. And I think Alan Tudyk was one of the robots, because James Gunn has his brother and everything. Or not his brother, his friends. But I was thinking about his brother, who played Maxwell Lord for a split second. So, they're getting all these DC names in here. You got Stag Industries. You got the people funding the Justice Gang. I don't want to talk about spoilers. I don't want to spoil anything, because I think that everyone should go see this movie themselves and experience it, because it is an experience. Like I said, I was crying the whole time. Wonder Woman did that to me. Superman did that to me. And I just feel like this is the beginning that DC has needed for a very long time when it comes to the movies. This is where they need to start, see how well it worked, and go from there. Keep this tone, keep the PG-13 optimistic, because that's the thing. Marvel is very gritty and realistic, real world problems, and DC is very idealistic. It's either very dark and grimy with Batman, but it doesn't need to be that way. You can have a Batman tonally set with this Superman. You could make a Batman movie set like this tonally, Superman movie, yeah, you can have your dark moments like Superman did, and just have that slight difference in personality where Batman is just not, he's like, but it still works. It will still work together. And I really think that Warner Brothers, James Gunn, David Cornsweet, everyone involved, knocked this one out of the park. So for me, Superman gets I'm not, the numbers don't really matter, but I can't even say anything negative about this movie. I don't think it dragged. I think the pacing was great. It was 2 hours and 10 minutes, but it didn't feel that way. The CG didn't bother me, suspended my disbelief through the whole thing simply because the characters pulling the story forward made it work so well. So Superman for me gets a 10 out of 10. So 10 Superman punches to all the haters out of 10. So all involved, congrats. You've started to fix DC movies. Keep going. James Gunn, love your stuff. When you made us care about Guardians of the Galaxy and no one had heard of them, and then we all hear that you got Superman, I knew I was excited. I knew, despite merchandising, trailers, whatever, if it looked a little goofy, I was like, I'm just going to trust James Gunn, because I've never seen a James Gunn movie that I hated other than Super. And that was because that movie is very, very sad. So Superman, 10 out of 10. I enjoyed it. My girlfriend enjoyed it. It seemed like everybody in the theater enjoyed it. I don't think there's anyone that can go in this movie unless they're expecting to hate it and just already have a preconceived hate for this movie that is going to dislike it. It is that good. So yeah, with all that being said, smash like if you like this review, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. Let me know if you saw Superman, if you're planning on seeing it, how your day is going. Just say, hey, sorry. Be kind to your local LGBTQ community. Keep your head up, stay brave. If you're protesting, stay safe. I love you. I will see you next time. Just look up. Bye-bye. Mwah.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Just wait 1 minute. I'm watching this new Rowdy video and it's really awesome. I don't want to miss it.
It's like this chick that reviews action figures and it's really freaking cool.
Yes, I think they saw some videos and there's some really good contents out there, you know?
She reviews the ponies and stuff because you knows I love ponies.
She doesn't review ponies. It's freaking cool stuff. Toki.